Right, that's the end of the video. Ta-ra. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at the screen that I film upon, and it's incredibly dark. Really uber dark. It's a summer's day. It's June. It's summertime. And yet, we've had weeks and weeks of unbroken sunshine. But the last week or so, it's kind of faltered a little bit. Cracks in the sky, the blue firmament, and suddenly rain, water from the skies has drizzled upon us. And the temperature, which was amazing to begin with, has now completely just crash dived. So it's actually a bit chilly out there. That has not stopped me going out there in a kilt and a vest, of course, today being Monday. Lots of people are saying, like, why haven't you reviewed Predator Killer of Killers? Yes, because I've been busy all weekend. I did review Ballerina from a John Wick world. I reviewed that, and I was meant to see Predator Killer of Killers shortly afterwards. But no, I went out and I partied. That was a Friday. The Saturday, me and Mrs. Kilt-Man partied all day long and night long. So it didn't happen then. And then yesterday, I found myself, unbelievably, in another do. Well, the band was playing in my local, and I ended up staying, and everything went out to rack and ruin again. So, didn't happen. But today, folks, I'm here, and the weather's turned really severely stupid and weird. But we have something unmistakably awesome. Steve 007, you know him, you love him. The benefactor of all the, what, don't know if you can see them, but in the background, those shadowy things around in the background there, movie art canvases, which he's been sending to me for years and years, and we have hundreds of them. And you've seen these videos, the unboxings, the mystery canvas. Steve sends me clues as to what the movie could be. And I'm pretty proud of myself that I've got around about 90, I'm not sure what the average is now, 92 to 94% of them I've been correct because of the clues he sends. And we're on the same sort of wavelength, almost telepathic. And he's tried to be a bit more obscure of late, the more recent ones, but I've still got him, or been very close. This one folks, he's not been very obtuse or weird about the clues. He's been very direct. He said, before this arrived, he said, like, look, it's coming to you today, and it's swinging swords, and the men wear leather and the women wear fur. And I thought straight away, that's 2 million years BC. The only women I know that wore fur in any kind of fantasy movie would be Raquel Welch for Hammers, 2 million years BC, which I have reviewed big style on the channel. And I thought, like, hang on, but the men did not wear leather, they wore fur as well. Another clue was maybe it was the invention of the Gillette razor, the Gillette Mach 3 or whatever it was, like. But I thought, no. He sent me a canvas for Conan the Barbarian. It's over there somewhere. And he knows a film which I've reviewed many times. I've even done a commentary for it on the channel. 1982, Albert Pyun. For a long time I called him Albert Pyun because it's spelled P-Y-U-N. And only recently, when it came out on 4K, this particular movie, which I think this is, that I discovered, no, his name's Pyun. Oh, damn it. And Albert Pyun, after this, did many Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and just sword and sorcery, chop socky sort of stuff, futuristic, sort of that kind of movie. But he did, just before Conan the Barbarian came out, in a really super shrewd move, he came out with a film which is infinitely more fun than Conan. Oh, don't. You guys know how much I love Conan the Barbarian, the Arnie version, and I love Robert E. Howard's the stories of yore and the barbaric age, you know, a time of high adventure. I've discussed them many times. But Albert Pyun's The Sword and the Sorcerer, with Lee Horsley playing Talon, Prince Talon, with his tri-bladed sword. Tri-bladed that fires blades out as projectiles. The most ridiculous sword, simply the most ridiculous sword ever, and yet it's brilliant. There's one sword which is even worse, I think, which is the Kurgan sword from Highlander. Clancy Brown and the Kurgan sword. Because why? I have the sword, I've done videos on the sword itself, and I've discussed Highlander many times. He opens it up in his case in his apartment in New York, and he slots the blade together, ka-junk, ka-junk, ka-junk. If you're going to fit a blade together, that's not going to last any impact. You've got fractures throughout it. It's not going to do it. It looks amazing, but it's little spikes that come out from the hilt, from the crossguard, it looks awesome. It's a bloody big sword. I know, I've got it. But my word, it's ridiculous. And then you have Talon's tri-bladed sword. Anyway, so I'm going on at length before I even unbox this. It's because it's got to be that. It has to be. I can't think of any other fantasy movie which I've gone on about. Steve won't send me anything which I'm not into. He won't do that. I think he took a chance on maybe one movie, From Dusk Till Dawn, which I've not reviewed, but I have mentioned it many times and I have said how much I love it, and he sent a canvas for that. And but everything else, you know, it's been something which has been close to my heart, and I've reviewed on the channel and talked about and discussed many times. And The Sword and the Sorcerer very definitely fits that bill, because the men do wear leather, the women, did he wear fur? That did kind of throw me a little bit. I was thinking, are we back to Raquel Welch, the fairy bikini, and Ray Harryhausen's stop motion animation? Oh, are we there? And by the way, if it is Raquel Welch in that fabulous Hammer poster, and she's there sort of like with her blonde hair billowing away in not much but fairy bits covering her back in that day, possibly very fairy bits as well, and the boobage. If that is here, then I'm all for it. But they weren't swinging on. It's clue. I didn't write the clues down. I've forgotten to write the clues down. They were swinging lots of swords and weaponry, ancient weaponry. Well, in that, it's clubs and spears and you know, there's not a lot of sword play. Well, there's no sword play at all. So again, and the leather thing, I thought it has to be. Now, this has arrived, and normally you see these horrible plasticky twine things, which if you're not careful, you try to do, you can slit your fingers. And it's worse than a paper cut. It could cut you down to the bone. Normally you get one top to bottom and then one wrapped around, cruciform style, and we got two like that. Had it been three, and I'd be like, it's definitely Sword and the Sorcerer. It's three twines for the three blades. I still think that's what it is. But anyway, normally I use my ski and do to open up packaging, but with these things, the ski and do's are absolutely bollocks. So I'm going to have to use, oh yeah, there they are. Not tri-bladed, but duo-bladed scissors. And right, let's work this out. Because sometimes, oh, he said, oh, it's a landscape. I just realised the vast majority of canvases that he sends are portrait style. The vast majority portrait style. So sometimes when I unveil it, it's upside down, and I show you guys, excuse me, I've been out drinking. I show you guys first, and it was upside down. I'm kind of like that, and I go, oh, what the hell is that? And you guys go, what the hell is that? This is landscape, so this could come out, well, it's going to be sideways, certainly. And then unknowingly, I'm going to turn it probably the wrong way around, so it'll be upside down. But we'll see, we'll see. But let's cut away, shall we? There's one down. There's two down. David Whittaker's fantastic score for Sword and Sorcerer. As I say, I really don't want to talk too much about the movie because I've done it to death. I've covered it so many times on the channel. But here's the big thing. I've always said, you can see a poster for the Sword and Sorcerer there. Hopefully you can see it in the gloom. That is the American one sheet done by a British fantasy artist called Peter Andrew Jones. I did a massive sort of coverage of the posters because that came out with the 4K release. A stupendous release. I did bring the box here somewhere. No, I didn't. But I reviewed that box set anyway. But I always wanted the UK quad poster, which you can get reproductions of course, on Amazon and just paper posters and all that. Because that is really resplendently gorgeous. Oh, here's me bigging this up, but it won't be that at all. By a guy, another British fantasy artist who did book covers and album covers and many movie posters. The guy that did that, the British guy that did the American one sheet, did 2 films. That for the American one sheet, and Alligator, another film I've reviewed massively on the channel. Alligator, Lewis Teague, 1981. Robert Forster, and a great big chompy alligator. Fantastic movie. Did nothing else. But Brian Bysouth did many, which will, providing it's him, because we don't know that yet, do we? We don't know that yet. Kilt-Man, you are leaping ahead of yourself. And I kind of love this, if I'm wrong, publicly there's going to be huge egg on my face. You've got other YouTubers who would do this sort of thing, a mystery unboxing, and if they're wrong, well, they won't show you their, oh my god, I got it wrong. They're going to cut it down and do it all over again. Not so with Kilt-Man. You get real time, real impact, real emotion, real surprise, and really pissed. Right, okay, we're going to go in. For those of you, as many regulars who know exactly what's going to come out of here, the canvas will be face down against a big piece of card and cellophaned in. So it's going to come out. I've got to still slit the cellophane and then reveal it because you can't even tell. It's going to be face down against the cardboard. Could do with a tri-bladed sword. I'd have hacked through this in no time. And from a distance, because you can fire those blades. I love this, the pop. Okay. Sealed in. So this is going to come out, well, should we do it that way? It'll still be the wrong way around, won't it? So, what were the clues again? It was I didn't write it down, a fantasy world, I'm sure he said that. Lots of weaponry being flung around. The men wore leather, the women wore fur, and what else was that? And that was it. But I kind of said, I think I know what this is. I I've forgotten now. I think I gave a few clues to him and he was kind of giving like little thumbs up. So unless he's stringing me along here. I am now slitting through, which was rather easily done. Lee Horsley, Talon. A prince whose father and mother were killed by an evil tyrant who used a wicked, evil sorcerer to bring about the victory for him and take over this kingdom. But Talon survives and comes back years later to wreak vengeance. But he doesn't give a shit, really, because he's a womanizing man brute with his band of warriors and mercenaries. He saves anybody for the sake of saving them, as long as he gets a shag at the end of it as well. Because this is a film of tits and bums and blood and gore. It's everything that Conan should have been. Conan's great. Don't start. I love Conan the Barbarian. John Milius and Basil Polidoris' score. Phenomenal. Arnie, phenomenal. I love it. Anyway, this is coming out. But this is more fun. And it came up before. It took a bit of the thunder from that Sumerian barbarian. Right. Oh, if I've got this fucking wrong. Okay, I know that's sideways, so it's not going to be the right way around. I'm going to take a chance, take a punt, and go that way. I'll be right. I'll be right. I'll be the right way around. And did I get it right? I'm too afraid to look. We're the right way around, and we are exactly the sword and the sorcerer. I fucking knew it. I knew it. Look at that. Look at that. Fucking gorgeous, resplendent reproduction of the British quad poster. The quad poster that, who did I mention before? Brian Bysouth did this. He did many. Before we discuss this poster itself, what else did Brian Bysouth do? I keep wanting to call him Brian Bywater. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. He did the posters for Driver, Walter Hill, Golden Voyage of Sinbad with Caroline Munro, Supergirl, Helen Slater. These are great. These are great posters from the era when artists did brilliantly full colour, brilliantly illustrated depictions of what you're going to see in the movie, emblazoned fully, boldly, and really in your face and enticing. So you'd see these things, as coming soon. Back in the day, the coming soon posters nowadays, it's Photoshop, just floating heads, or just one the hero's face like that, looking mean. Look at Statham's posters; they're all the same poster, just like a different bead of sweat coming down, a slightly meaner look. It's just one-stop shop. But back in the day, when you had Star Wars and Jaws and Close Encounters and Indiana Jones, all the big classic posters. And Brian Bysouth did the UK posters for Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. The Bounty, which I've reviewed. Mel Gibson, Anthony Hopkins, fabulous. Again, fabulous poster. The Wicked Lady, Faye Dunaway. March or Die, Gene Hackman, French Foreign Legion, in the desert, A Last Stand, awesome. Breaker Morant, Edward Woodward, in Australia, and was it Australia? Yeah, of course it's Australia. He faces a court martial. The Bellstone Fox animated movie. Brannigan, that's the Duke himself, John Wayne. Robin and Marion, that's the Wistful. It's Katharine Hepburn. Is it Katharine Hepburn? It is. And Sean Connery playing Robin Hood, the aged Robin Hood, and Katharine Hepburn's playing Maid Marian. Brilliant movie. There's actually quite a protracted action sequence in it, but it's an elegiac sort of movie. It's the end of Robin Hood. And it's a great poster as well. Highland. He's got a thing for really dodgy swords. He did Highlander as well. For Your Eyes Only, which is the The canvas for it of Steve is right there. It's right there right now. Raise the Lost Ark. And many others too. But look at that. Look at it. Look. You imagine that sort of like 6 foot across, 4 foot down in the cinemas. That is just, you see that as a kid and you're like, oh my God, evil, 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 rampaging armies here. Oh, a gorgeous buxom babe with a really phallic, equally rampant bloody snake, and a muscle-bound hero with a crazy-looking sword there. Sorry, the ring light's pinging out. There's more colours involved in this. There's lots of like crystal blues, and there's the castle is there. The greatest duel ever fought between deathless courage and endless evil. A Brandon Chase film. The Sword of the Sorcerer. Double A. It's got the double A. There it is. Double A. You had to be 14 or above to see this, unless accompanied by a really boring, stodgy adult getting away with all your fun. Double A's were always great because they seem to have more. In the UK, double A was violence and a little bit of swearing. If you were an X, it was sex. X is sex and really uber gore. But double A's were quite brutal. But in this era, you would have the likes of, well, obviously this. You'd have Who Dares Wins, Lewis Collins, SAS, and which I've discussed many times. That's a hard-hitting, brutal, quite bloody film. A lot of swearing in it, and it's pretty damn nasty. What else did you have? First Blood was a double A as well. What else was there? What else was there at that time? That's pretty loads. But double A's, they were actually more brutal, I found, than the extravagant movies, which I was freely going to. I'm not going to bore you with all the same old stories again, because I grew up in basically the Phoenix Cinema in Wallasey Village, which itself, it's called the Phoenix, or it was called the Phoenix. It no longer exists. It was a theatre called the Gaumont, an old cinema called the Gaumont, and it got bombed during World War II. WWII got bombed, and then they rebuilt it out of its ashes, and they called it the Phoenix because the Phoenix grew out of his own ashes. Had 2 screens. Apparently, in this is something I've said before. I don't remember this. It did gain a 3rd screen. I do not remember that, but I know that from the age of 8, 9 years old to 12, I lived in that cinema. I'd come home from school and go straight there. I'd stay there and I'd watch whatever. I knew the people who owned the cinema. It's a privately owned cinema. I was in class with their daughter, Christine. My mate's mother worked the cashier desk, get your tickets, and also during the intermission sold you, your Kiora and your lolly ices and your choc ices and your sweets, your mince holder. She did all that sort of stuff as well. So either way, I'd get in for nothing and I'd stay there, even though I was underage and I was seeing really ridiculously inappropriate things. Didn't do me no harm. But I did see this as well. But I remember seeing this poster, this British quad poster by Brian Bysouth. You went into the main entrance, the big double doors, and there were several double doors, and you all went in there. And you went to the one cashier desk, and then they bought your popcorn, all your shit like that. And then you went through another door, and there were 2 screens initially. I don't remember the 3rd screen being there, but apparently there was one in the latter stages of its life. And then you go to one of the 2 screens, obviously, and you go across this sort of no man's land of the really stodgy carpet full of vomit, piss, blood, teeth, chewies, ciggies, all sorts of stuff, spilt beer, everything was there. People sleeping there, and you go across this, but if the lights were on, they'd have coming soon posters, and I massively recall that being there, and I just stop and stare at it like that. Oh God, I want to see this movie. It promised everything. I mean, look at Zusha, the demon, the sorcerer, played by Richard Moll. I've discussed the entire production of this movie inside and out and really in depth, so I'm not going to do that right now. You've got it. Oh, I forgot his name now. The guy who played Michelli, it's actually him in disguise, because Richard Lynch, the great Richard Lynch, always a villain, never a good guy, always a villain, recruits this sorcerer to overthrow a kingdom, and then because he knows this guy's going to get more powerful, right? I'm gonna have to kill him. So they kill this guy, but he doesn't die. Comes back in a fleshy disguise as Count Michelli. George Maharis is his name. George Maharis comes back as him, and then in a great sequence, he unmasks himself by ripping his fleshy mask asunder and thrusting forth from this fleshy cage. And after being sprightly and, you know, looking a bit like Spock, a more mean-spirited Spock with that hairdo, he's quite, you know, sprightly, and he can move about and he's articulate. He takes off the fleshy mask and becomes this slow-moving, decrepit, reptilian scaled demon thing. Just stay in the fucking human mask, because you look better and you work better. But he has these glowing fingers like that, and it's just an optical effect, but he can pluck hearts out of people's beating chests, you know, from a distance, and catch the heart and crush it. He's a nasty bastard. And you can see all this, and I was like, my God. And the trailer for it blew me away. If you get any Blu-ray editions, 4K editions of Sword and Sorcerer, it's got all the teasers and trailers on it. And there is one which, when I was a kid, it blew me away, because Lee Horsley, he was Matt, detective show, American detective show, Matt Monroe, Matt something anyway, I forgot what it's called now. And I think he was in a TV soap, American soap opera as well, and he's got really curly hair, which he's not got in this movie. He's got like a wig of flowing, you know, brown locks, and he looks like Errol Flynn. Normally he wears like a beard, but in this he's clean shaven, bit of stubble maybe, but he looks incredible. And I just thought, I want to be that guy. Even before I saw the film, I was like, that guy there. And there's this great sequence where in the teaser and trailer, and in the film it's great, but the teaser or the trailer certainly put it together even more excitingly. And he's trying to wield this three-bladed sword. Yes, that fucking sword. And the sorcerer's doing the thing on him with the glowing fingers. And they glow yellow, and they can glow red. And his heart's going, and you hear the boom, 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 boom. And our guy is just down to his skimpies, his little leather underpants, and he's like, and blood's coming from his ears and from his eyes and from his nose, and he's like, and he manages to raise the sword, and just the sequence of him raising the sword, like looking like Errol Flynn from the 30s and 40s and into the 50s, but 30s and 40s, American Hollywood. Well, he's from Tasmania, but American Hollywood icon, an action hero. He played General Custer for They Die With the Boots On. I'm not, again, regular viewers know exactly where I'm coming from with all this, because I've said it all a million times before. And this is now a version of Errol Flynn, but with a tri-bladed sword. And he's just down to his little skimpy undies, and he's gory, and he's going to fight back against evil. And that trailer fucking got me. I'd be 11 years old, 11, maybe 12 years old at the time. And wow. And then we saw the movie, and what I didn't realise, because the trailer didn't give this away, is that the film is incredibly tongue-in-cheek. It's wonderfully written. It's so effervescent. It's got cliche dialogue, and it's got really gory kills and tits and bums, and albeit for a 15. What would be a 15? A double A certificate. but it's got plenty of blood, snot and comic book violence. But it's got its tongue in its cheek, it's got a twinkle in its eye. It's played a hell of a lot for laughs. I did not know that going in to actually watch the movie. After seeing that poster and then the trailers and the teasers, and I was like, the TV spots, I was like, this is funny. This is actually, they're taking the piss. And you know what? Once I got over that, I got on board and I loved the film even more than I ever could have done originally. Its sense of humour, its bawdiness, its sort of self-deprecating style is just so winning and so charming. Lee Horsley owns it. Being chased by bad guys around the villain's castle, and he's just got away from one ragtag group after beating someone up, and he thinks he's home and dry, and then he hears more storming up another staircase. He's like, oh god. And it's just, you get loads of moments like that. He takes the piss out of bad guys. He's got numerous blades against him, and he's like, he's just in his undies, and he's, who dies first? He's outstanding. I'm stunned he didn't go on to make more movies, maybe of this ilk. Albert Pyun promised at the end of The Sword and the Sorcerer, Talon will be back. Like the James Bond, Talon will be back. The more adventures of Talon in, what did he call it? Tales of an Ancient Empire. It took, this was 82, it took 82, 92, 2002, 2010. It took 30 odd years to get a sequel to this movie, and it's absolute shite. Do not watch it. I reviewed that as well. Tales of an Ancient Empire finally came out, and it's not a film. It is not a complete movie. The effects are really, really bad. Optical effects, really, like literally, you know, a kid's pocket money will make the film better than what Pyun developed for this particular production. Lee Horsley's in it as a cameo for not long, thankfully, but it's absolute rank garbage. Don't watch it. Please don't watch it. There's no point. Not even take the piss out of it. It's not enough. There's not enough value in having a laugh at it. It's not that funny. It's not even like, oh, it's so bad. It's actually hysterical. No, it's just so bad. It just makes you want to throttle the people that are involved in it. But this remains unparalleled. So let's get this music playing a bit louder. Because it's great. David Whittaker come out with a really flamboyant OTT, magisterial, fully orchestral fantasy romp. Everything's in here. All the bells and whistles, fanfares, trumpet flourishes, lots of menacing bass and, like, you know, really shrieking strings. Everything is in there. Lots of little leitmotifs for various characters, and a really triumphant main theme, a heroic, boisterous main theme, and a bit of jocular playfulness as well for the romantic angles and the just sheer joie de vivre of this. You have the great Robert Tessier from Mean Machine, and the deep, big, baldy-headed, big pointy nose, sort of pointy ears. It looks like an orc from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, only he's got no makeup on. And he plays Verdugo, the torturer, and he's fucking horrible, like. And he's got this gorgeous girl chained up in the cell, and he's like doing the foot grinder, sharpening his blades, and the wheels turning. He's like, he's doing all this. He's like, "Don't worry, little girl, it won't hurt until I hit the bone." And she's going, "Oh no." But we have, and I forgot the guy's name now. One of the heroes. They all get captured and caught at some point or other, but this guy, they break out, and this guy's already got a sworn vengeance on Robert Tessier's Verdugo, and suddenly he comes up behind him, and it gets his head in a headlock, and it forces the guy's head down, Robert Tessier's head down on the grinding, turning rock wheel, and he's like, ugh! and forces the head down, and blood flies everywhere, and he saves the girl, and like, wow, blood's going everywhere. Always thought like, it's only revolving because you're doing you can't see what I'm doing, and my knees up and down, up and down. You're pushing, the foot pedal to make it turn. Take your foot off it. And then someone said to me like, no. He's the killer, our hero has come up there, and he's doing it like, and then forcing his head down. I was like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. But there's no shot, no establishing shot to show you that, which I think they should do, really. That's just me. But these two guys had fought previously in The Deep, based on Peter Benchley's book, and they fight with an outboard propeller and a chainsaw in that. And Robert Tessier loses again because this other guy, this muscle-bound black dude with a big rasta hairdo, who's terrific, he kills him twice in The Deep and then in this. But it's a big ensemble cast. Kathleen Bella, who went on to marry Thomas Dolby, British pop pixie musician, synth electro whiz kid. Woo! She married him, and she's gorgeous, and she had a lot of fun in this movie. If you watch the 4K and the documentaries, she saved another girl from being victimized and did a lot of stuff, and she grew a lot. But I think she learned so much about exploitation movies that she didn't make any others after that. And like little bits of nudie scenes, and it was her nude double which she saved from being exploited even further, and fought for her. So great girl, Kathleen Bella, and amazingly gorgeous as well. But Richard Lynch there as Cromwell. I mean, they took the name Cromwell. Well, if you're in Britain, in Britain these days, you don't get taught British history anymore. Or the history you get taught has been doctored. Yes, I'm not going to go political on this, but they're rewriting history to make it more inclusive. Not what history actually was, but what they want you to now believe. But anyway, they called him Cromwell. In Britain, some of us remember Cromwell all too well. Now, Richard Lynch couldn't help but play villains because even though he was a good-looking fella, he had a horrific accident, a burning accident, which scalded a lot of his body and his face. So his face it's not like cropsy from the burning. He's not all melted, but he has this mottled. He's sadly died now, and but it's mottled, pinkish visage, lots of little striations, and it was a burn, a scald. So because of that, he didn't let it define him, or rather, he did let it define him. Because if I can't be a leading man in romantic roles, I'm going to be the villain. So he carried on acting, went to drama school and did all this, and got loads of parts in movies as the bad guy because of the way he looked. And he is great in this. Look at the crown he's got on there. He's outstanding. Richard Moll, who plays Zusha, the sorcerer, he resurrects from a tomb of blood, the walls of which are encrusted with living human faces and skulls, which come alive, and it's a brilliant effect. And he comes back, and but then they realise he's too powerful, we're going to have to kill him off. So they kill him off, and of course the stunt where Zusha is stabbed and then thrown off a cliff. This is all California, the rocky bays and cliffs of California. The guy, the stuntman, I know, I said I wasn't going to do all this, but I can't help myself, can I? That guy had done the exact same stunt for a film only just prior to doing Sword and Sorcerer. 80-foot drop off a sheer cliff, run, jump, fall. he put all the airbags down there. He positioned them. And it's like, I almost missed the airbags on the previous movie, so I'm going to move them further out. Because he thought, like, on the previous one, I almost overshot the airbags. So he moved all the airbags further out, right? Took the plunge, the death-defying leap, and he dropped straight down. So the gap where the airbags should have been, because he moved them forward, he went straight into that. Died instantly. And horrific. And they kept the stunt in. A lot of toing and froing on that, like, what should we do? Because, you know, but he lived and breathed stunts. And any stunt, I'm going to tell you, you know, if I die making this particular stunt, I've died doing what I love, what I've trained to do, what I wanted to do. And I've gone into this not blindly. I've sussed everything else and know what could possibly happen. If it looks good, keep it. It's like almost an unwritten stuntman mantra. It's part of the stuntman contract. If it looks good, keep it in. So you do. Obviously, you don't see the impact, but you do see the slow motion, and if you look at it, you can kind of tell that he's realised, shit, I'm not going to land on his airbags. So there's a lot going on in this movie. Richard Moll, who plays the Sorcerer, he didn't do the big dive. He was in Night Court and other stuff like that. His makeup is very elaborate, very brilliant. He had a massive reaction to the contact lenses and the prosthetics on his face, and was hospitalised. He could have gone blind. He had a real severe reaction to it all. So a lot of his scenes where you see him as the Sorcerer, it's not him, it's another guy playing him, but it's still his voice when he's playing the demon. So at the end, you know, the big fight that Talon will have, because the Zusha will take him out, and that, because don't forget, these two guys are the same thing. He is hiding within that face, and he breaks it apart. It's very similar to Rob Bottin's transformation scene in The Howling, which came out just the year before, where you got Robert Picardo playing Eddie Quist. Still, as I've always said, my favourite of all werewolf designs is the huge 7-foot-tall bipedal werewolf with the fucking humongous pointy ears, which make it look even more satanic, and the big, huge fucking snout. Oh. But as he transforms, he goes, and the chest is expanding, muscle sinews growing, blood's coming out, you know. And like what they do in this, when he transforms, well, he doesn't transform, he just takes off his human suit, but he sort of goes, he gurgles black blood, and he laughs, and he's going like that, and the chest and the skin erupt and crack, and blood issues out, and it gets taller, like in The Howling, and the human skin falls off these taloned fingers. Talon, who's our hero, Prince Talon, and it's just a bit of a weeping willow there. Fantastic stuff. So it's gory, it's exciting, it's sexy. You have in that sequence, that finale, you have this huge, massive python gets between Kathleen Bella's legs and it begins to, not python, it's a boa constrictor, isn't it? It's wrapping around it and it's tightening on it, but it's between her gorgeous thighs, and she's in a wedding gown because Cromwell has chosen to take her as his bride and marry her. And so him wanting to marry her, and because he's caught Talon, he's got Talon crucified. The lad will be crucified at dawn. And even that, it's fucking stupid, because Talon is there, spread eagles, you know, and it's like, it's gagged as well, but he manages, like, during a big celebratory feast, just before she says, I do, he's pulling massive big nails through his palms. He manages to pull one out, and then get his gag off. You go, Cromwell, and it kills the spell. And you've got people on his side who are going to rescue him. You've got people who are against the guests to kill them. It's everyone's setting everybody else up, and it becomes a massive melee a big free-for-all. Everyone's getting hacked and sliced and all that. But our boy has pulled one hand with the big spike through it. And then suddenly he's able to get the other spike off. And then just untie his feet and get off. Someone throws him his sword in a great scene. Joe Regal Buto from Street Hawk. Yeah, that guy. Talon throws his tri-bladed sword as Talon leaps in the air in slow motion. And it would have been great because it looks like the sword's going to go, oh shit! And he gets skewered by his own fucking 3 blades. But he catches the sword and then begins to fight everyone. Oh, it's great, big battle. His hands, folks, great big fucking holes in his hands. How's he done that? Well, who cares? Who cares? I mean, listen, we got the new cat in our house. I suffer daily the death of 1,000 cuts. I wear these because I'm hiding a lot of the wounds, and I'm pissing blood. Every morning the cat will go for me and it's like, and Mrs. Kilt-Man's going, oh, she's played. Oh, it's done out of love. It's just fun for her. And you're like, she's got a vein hooked. It's almost like it's like fucking Hellraiser, Andy Robinson with the hooks going through his. Jesus wept, because you've got skin up there with a claw all the way through it, and then you're like, please just bring the claw back. And then she goes, and slits it, and it geezer of blood. So I'm like that, but I've still got to work and use them and make pots of tea and do fish finger butties and stuff like that. So, and pick up whiskies and things in the pub. But he managed to get himself off, the cross, and then fight a big battle. And you don't see any holes in his hands. He's not spewing blood. But he gets his tri-bladed sword, and he will use it. He's used it a few times already. So he fires. It's got 3 blades, right? It's a sword with 3 big whopping big blades. And it's a trigger. You don't see it, but it's a trigger somewhere. And he can fire one up, and it go like 20, 30 feet. Take out bad guys off horses or whatever. And he'll fire another one. And he'll fight with the next one. And the next time you see him, he's got 3 blades again. How do you get those blades back? Because you've got to then, I've got to go over to the body I've just killed, right, and I've got to drag the blade out of it. Oh, drag the blade out, blade sharp, going to cut your fingers off, dragging the blade back out, fit it back in again, go and get the other blade, fit that one back in again. Or do you have like almost like a magazine belt of blades hanging down your arse? No, another blade, and just fit it in. It's fucking stupid. Hawk the Slayer had the Mind Sword, which could float and do other bits and bobs. But it's great. Lightsabers, a laser doesn't stop anywhere. You can't make a laser stop. It doesn't stop. It just goes on infinitely till something is in the way. But lightsabers, fantasy. That's what it is. No science, fantasy. Look great, but fantasy. So, but a tri-bladed sword is fantasy. But also, it's fucking stupid. I still can't get over how daft that fucking blade is. Apart from the Kerrigan's blade as well, which is just so super stupid. Because they try to make you've got samurai swords, katanas, and you've got claymores as well, Highlander, of course. And then you've got this big fantastical fantasy blade, which is the Kerrigan's. But he fits it together. Ka-choo, ka-choo, ka-choo. No. The first impact, shatteration will ensue. You're not meant to think about these things, are you? But Steve, mate, and you guys, that is fucking glorious. The American one she posted is there. You probably can't see that too well in the gloom that's here. But in the video about the 4K release, I discussed that quite a bit. And I also said, I really want that poster. And Steve obviously listened, because he then delivered it to me. It's here now. I know where it's going to go. It's going to go on the back wall there. again, in the shadowy gloom, I've always got the Rambo posters there. First Blood, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3. I've always got them there. And above, over there, landscape is the Wild Geese mercenary movie, you know. Oh God, Roger Moore, Hardy Kruger, what's the other guy? Richard Burton. Fantastic. I've covered that movie a lot as well on the channel. But I call that wall the war wall because our vintage cooker is there with the overhead grill, the hobs and all that. Like, it's outdated. We've had that since we first moved into a house back in 1990, folks. And it's still going strong. And every gas operator that comes in to do maintenance and you do your home serve once over, make sure everything's working correctly, they always say that should be condemned, but keep it. You can't get parts for it. That'll never die. It's fantastic. Keep it. But by our rules and conditions, we've got to inform you it should be condemned, but we're telling you keep the fucking thing. So we kept it. But the amount of battles I've had over there, and I've turned me back, and my sausages have burnt to a cinder. I'm like, oh fucking hell. Eggs have boiled over. Like, oh fuck, because I'm shit like that. I've fought so many battles over there. That's become the war wall. So hence all of that gung-ho action man sort of stuff. Well, I think I'm going to take down. I'm going to remove the Wild Geese and move it somewhere else. But that's going to go up there. There's still wars in this, but it's glorious, symphonic fanfare. He looks like Tarzan as well, down to his little loincloth. He's like Tarzan. And Lee Horsley, he's not a muscle man, but my God, he looks amazing. He's all oiled up, and but he's in good shape, put it that way. And with the wig he's wearing, which it is exactly what. Mine's not a wig though, but it's exactly this. And he gets the girl, and he's not. The thing is, he's not arsed as well. He wins the babe. He wrestles the kingdom back, and it's actually his kingdom. He wins back his own father's kingdom. Kingdom. His own father. That was a bit of irony there. And crush your enemies. See them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. He wins back his own father's kingdom again, but doesn't give a shit. Doesn't care. Him and his band of mercenaries. He gets his shag off air, and that's it. He's happy. Right. Another adventure. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go up the coast now. Whatever. Because even him and his mates, when he first heard about this little job, his mate said, the guy from Street Talk says to him but what about King Maladan? We're meant to go and do this and blah blah, rescue the king's daughter. Oh fucking whatever it is. And he's like, well, we can always go back to him afterwards, because he just doesn't give a shit. He just lives for the moment, and I love that. So a lot of ethos for my tender young age. Yeah, you may have been watching Roger Moore in the Bond movies, because they're the ones I grew up with. Obviously, I knew that Sean Connery was the best, and I watched him on telly. Didn't see him at the flicks, but I saw Roger Moore stuff at the flicks. Well, I saw them all on fucking re-releases, but you know what I mean. But so you had Bond and all that, but yeah, you can't be Bond. But there was something about this guy, this sort of wanton sense of humour, this flesh lust and thirst for adventure. And the fact that he's like, I'm gonna do this, and like, oh, don't you recognise me? He is a bit of a prat at the same time, and man, you can identify with that. Show you again. Look at the colours on it. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that is not Lee Horsley there. He does not have that body. That is all accurate depictions of the characters there. You do not see an army rampaging like this. You do not. There's some more sword play down here, which you do not get in the movie either. But you do get this. Kathleen Bella does not look like that. And the snake was really relaxed and really didn't give a shit. And she was dead scared about this snake, but the snake was actually fantastic with her, so they got on great. And they still write, they still see each other. So there you go. This is outstanding. Steve, thanks so much. And as I say, the soundtrack is just excellent. It's scary. Here's the transformation scene. And you hear like it's sort of like almost like a Bernard Herrmann sort of xylophone effect for like bones and weirdness. Somewhere here. I've probably talked over it now. Sorry, I stopped talking because I was listening to this then. I love it. So Zusha will fight Cromwell, and then Talon will come down to save the princess. And like he says, he goes like, I've got no argument with you to the sorcerer. This is Talon, our hero. I have no argument with you. He's got his tri-bladed sword. And Zusha goes like, Cromwell's mine! And he's doing the heart rippy thing from a distance. And Cromwell's like, blood everywhere, like, Cromwell's mine! So Owlboy goes like, now we have a quarrel. I have no quarrel with you. Yeah, now we have a quarrel. So he duels and fires, a blade into the sorcerer, and you think he's gone. And then he ends up fighting Cromwell. And it is funny. They have a great big fight there, and like they've got blades in there, their gauntlets, hidden blades up the arse and back again, a blade out the nostril, and it's great because he fires one blade at the sorcerer and then points two blades at Cromwell, and Cromwell goes like, slice sword, and then goes, but Owlboy goes, no. Because he wants revenge on him, personal revenge, and fires the other blade into a wall. We've only got the one blade left, and he had the fight with all that. Like that's not the best, not the most, brilliantly choreographed sword fight sequence, but it's fun and there's a lot to it as well. The film's got headbutts in it as well, like fucking good noggin on noggin, interaction. Boof! It's got them as well. It's great. So this is the final fight sequence anyway. You've got Simon McCorkindale, the great Simon McCorkindale. He's sadly gone as well. He's in there. Yeah. He's the guy that Talon should be should own this kingdom, but it's this guy, because I've been gone for a long time. I don't really want it. So good God, you rescued a kingdom, and he throws the crown, Cromwell's crown, to him. Now, come on. And Paul McCorkindale's been whipped and flogged and flayed, something chronic throughout the fucking movie. It's wonderful. Look at that though. Steve, as I say, that's brilliant. And look how colourful it is as well. From the day when you still had posters, the 80s did keep posters going, proper film artistry, for into the late 80s. Obviously, Batman and Christ, what I'm talking about now? Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, and many others. But then the back end of the 80s and certainly the 90s onwards, posters became a thing of the past. There was just people's faces, big black, like this, just like the way I'm looking at it right now. It's just my head's just floating here, and believe you me, that's not a pleasant sight. If I can't put up with it, I don't know how you guys put up with it. But it's just people's floating heads. Look at the Scream posters for one thing. It's just like a black canvas with just their heads either side, looking like that, and like that's shit. Where's the imagination? Where's the flair? What does that tell you about a movie? Nothing. But you had like Superman, Star Wars posters, and the Black Hole, Poseidon Adventure. You had all these Spartacus, fucking great posters from the past. It gave you massive depictions of what you can expect from it, and you stand and look at those posters and marvel at the imagery. Wow. For Screen, would you do that? Would you bother trying to find a vintage, genuine, original Screen poster? Fuck off. Don't be daft, I know some people would, but ain't me. You want artwork like that? Brian Bysouth, fucking awesome artist. Look at that. Those are absolutely splendiferously accurate. That, of course, is not because he has long hair for one thing, and he's not that muscly. But that is not the point. Not the point. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is where he tells him, "Who are you?" "Talon, son of Richard." And he goes, because Cromwell now realizes, "Oh shit, I killed your mum and dad." And then after he dies, the demon springs up again, like the sorcerer springs up again, and he goes, fucking stabs. Oh, there's Kathleen Bella, because after this big fight, Talon realizes, oh shit, there's the fifth bird who promised me a shag if I saved their brother, Simon McCorkindale. I've got to save her from that great big fucking snake thing. So he kills the snake, and the two are about to embrace, and the sorcerer goes, "Wait, I'm still here." And he goes, there. It's boss. I can't lay claim to saying, wow, I sussed out your clues, because and I said to him, mate, I know what this is. It's that you've really given it away. It could have been, 2 million years BC. It could have been the fair thing. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not actually sure where he got that from. There's a girl who gets her tongue cut out and then she kills herself with a sword by Verdugo in front of many witnesses who are in the jail cells. She's got the world's worst fake fringe going. It's just, she's got blonde hair. She's incredibly gorgeous, but this stupid fringe says me, I know, but it's so pronounced. It comes over like 2 foot ahead, away from her fod, over there like that. And where's it going with that? What's the point of that? I've forgotten. I've gone off on a tangent there. That was a fringe. That was a fringe benefit you got there, which I've completely forgotten the impetus for. That's what happens, folks. What happens? Like, I'm old now. I'm old, for God's sake. I'm from this era, this fantastical era, in the land before time began getting recorded and politicians took over and lied to us. Don't you want a good, honest to God tyrant that you can fight against? He taxes you, he imprisons you, but you can legitimately fight and use hearty words. And you might not get rounded up and flung in prison. You can form a rebellion and fight back. Now they make sure that you can't do that. You can't fight. Everything is tied. I always do bring politics in. I always do, because everything is around politics. Look at this. A despot, a tyrant. He wants power. He wants power because he is he. The two of them are together. He just wants a shag and a bit of fun. He wants to drink, bevy, get laid, and kick ass. That's what I want to be. What I have been. It's what you want to be. You don't want to be one of these. So these guys in power, you always want to overthrow them because they're always going to be twats. Steve, absolutely awesome. I know I was going with it. What I was saying before. I knew what it was. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind. It could have been Raquel Welch, but I thought, no. The men didn't wear leather. And the whole thing about flinging lots of weaponry around, they didn't in that film. And because we've got other fantasy movies which he sent to us, so it had to be this. And it was indeed. Right. It's so full of joy. You've got horror, you've got thrills and spills, you've got comedic elements, you've got romance, you've got there's whimsy in there as well. But this heroic theme, it's so jubilant and like, you know, you can't lose with this. And it got such a piss poor, god awful sequel, which all fans wanted it. Oh, any more news on this? And then finally it limped out. Well, it didn't even limp. It was spat out, shat out. You're like, oh god. It's lashing down now. The rain is still coming down, even though it's summertime. Dear God. And it's my birthday in a couple of days' time. The same day as Mrs. Kilt-Man has her birthday. We share a birthday. I don't like sharing. I do not. But yeah, so another year under the belt. Under the kilt. And I'm not so wrinkly up here, but I'm quite wrinkly down. No. Folks, I have been always Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, in this ever like, whoa, let's save kingdoms from tyrannical despots, bed wenches, if that's what you want to do, or bed whatever you want to do. You know, I'm saying nothing. I know what I want to bed. And that'll do nicely. Thank you very much. But have fun. If you're going to go on an adventure, you may as well enjoy doing it. May as well. Whatever life throws at you, have a grin, have a twinkle in your eye, a spring in your step. Life's going to fuck you up no matter what. It's going to conspire to trip you up and foul things up for you. You may as well face it with a smile. Because it can't be any worse, can it? Just have a laugh. Even if it's your last stand, laugh in the face of death. As long as you've got your three-bladed projectile sword, you can take a few of them out. Isn't it gorgeous then? Let it play out. And do watch The Sword and the Sorcerer. It is a cracking good time. It's so low rent, but great practical effects, gory, splattery head effects, giblets, boobies, bums. Oh, it's got a lot. You know, big headbutt, spectacularly weird blades, and a really, really fucking scary sorcerer. Yeah. Right, folks, I'm out of here. Please, as I said before, keep it Kilty, keep it Celtic, and just be yourselves. Be happy, and I'm going to see you all later. Cheers, Steve. But I got it again. I think it was a bit obvious this time, but we got it anyway. But cheers.